I'm Michael Bain and welcome to Triggered, coming to you as always from the secret hidden bunker in the Rocky Mountains and Dragon House Studios, brought to you this week by Hunter's HD Gold shooting glasses, the single best shooting glasses I have ever used. They change so you don't have to. This, by the way, is our last show for 2022, and I thought it was a good idea to open maybe with some stock options for you. No, not those kind of stock options. Of course, AR-15 kind of stock options. This guy here, it's kind of an interesting stock. It is from Bilson Arms, and I ran into this at the Lucid Optics ballistic event a few months back. And it is basically a rotating AR-15 stock. And you're thinking there, like, why? Well, if you see in the B-roll, there's lots of reasons why. Especially when I was shooting 3-gun, there were a lot of opportunities for me to change from, say, my scope to a red dot sight where I would cant the gun. There were lots of times that the position changed between targets. The height changed. And so I would usually have to move the stock around within the little niche in my shoulder. But this Bilson device actually fixes that. And again, you can see this in the B-roll, how it moves, it rolls, and you're able to adapt it really quickly to a different position. And of course, the first time I looked at it and said, oh, come on. And then I got to thinking about how many times I'd had to reposition the AR or rotate it or move it up and down sideways that changed the fit of the buttstock in my shoulder pocket. And I thought, well, maybe there's something to this. It's all aluminum, anodized. Of course, appropriately, it comes in colors everywhere, as you know. He'll even engrave it special for you. Bilson Arms basically made their bones building AR-15 lowers, machining lowers, all of various and sundry AR-15 accessories. So the company's been around for a while, but this stock is something that I think you might find useful, especially if you're out there on the 3-gun field. Now, our other stock option today is something that I have not worked with, but it comes from a company that I've been very happy with over the years. This is Stern Defense's RABAD. I hate acronyms. Don't you just hate acronyms? That stands for Rapid Attachment Buttstock Adapter. Doo-dah, doo-dah. But the point of this is pretty simple. And of course, I took it apart without reading the instructions, which is never a good thing. But it is an attachment. Part of it goes on your AR-15, and part of it goes on the buffer tube and stock. And what it allows you to do, basically, is with one button, you push it, and then you're able to rotate off the buttstock, the stock of your rifle. So you'll be able to essentially carry it. If you want a backpack gun, you say, well, I could certainly pop those 2 pins to take the AR apart, but this is quick. And that's what you want. If you're saying it's in a backpack, you're on the trail, you're packing it. The advantage of this is it ratchets in and ratchets out. Now, you may remember Stern because they're a small company that does neat stuff. The first product that I ever got from them was a magazine well adapter for an AR-15 that allowed you, if you're on your pistol caliber carbine, you could go to a Glock magazine very easily. Now they have 9mm, 40, 45 Glock, SIG, 320, and a bunch of other really great accessories. I will have this on a gun next time I see you in 2023. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the lost 9mm. Welcome back to Triggered. Remember I mentioned the lost 9mm? And I don't mean some sort of weird cargo cult gun in the South Pacific. Instead, I was thinking about these guns from Kahr Arms. The reason I was thinking about them was it's December, end of the year. A lot of people are doing lists, best of, greatest. These are the super deluxe 10. And I was checking a lot of different lists for micro 9mm handguns. And as you know from watching this show, from listening to the MBTV on the radio podcasts, those are the guns that are driving the concealed carry market. And in all those lists that I looked at, there was not one mention of Kahr Arms, who has built since like 1995 some of the very best small carry 9mm ever made. So I wanted here at the end of the year to take a quick look at Kahr and why I think they're still relevant in a world of higher capacity 9mm micro guns. Kahrs were the first. If you look at like 1995 when the first K9 Kahr came out, Justin Moon had started shooting when he was 14 years old. His brother took him to the range. When he was 18, he got a concealed carry license. He really didn't like any of the carry gun options. So he designed one, and because he's brilliant, it worked. So the Kahr K9 was the first really super small, super slim, because Justin Moon understood that thinness in grip was a critical measurement, 9mm. Now, he designed a trigger system that should be familiar to anybody who has ever shot a double-action revolver. It's a double-action only trigger system. And I personally think it's brilliant. It's brilliant for a couple of reasons, and we actually talked about it a little bit. It's brilliant because if you're carrying appendix, that double-action trigger pull, that longer stroke trigger pull than a striker-fired gun, is an additional safety component. That's why a lot of appendix carriers have gone to double-action, single-action type semi-autos. Secondly, these guns are really thin, they're light, their triggers are all really excellent. Now, where do they stumble? Why have you not seen them in those lists at the end of the year? Because we live in a world of capacity, capacity, capacity. This is the PM9. It's still the smallest 9mm that you can get. It is less than, I think, 15 ounces, 14.9 ounces, 6 shots plus 1 in the chamber. The CW, next size up, which is a gun that I carried for years, an excellent gun. You've seen it on Triggered any number, and Shooting Gallery as well, 7-1. And then this is the ST9. This was a John Teagan special gun that was 8-1. I think all of these guns are brilliant for concealed carry. And I think that just because that we see 6, 7, 8, and 1 doesn't mean that they will not do the job for you. I know that we're supposed to say that, hey, nobody ever said that they wanted less bullets, but these guns shoot well, great triggers, super accurate, and deserve to be considered with the very best. When we come back, a little bit on your best defense. This week's Triggered is brought to you by Arms Corps, Rock Island Armory. What's your passion? Taurus USA, always ready, always bring it. Stoger, everyday tough. SDS Imports and the Thesis PX9. Thesis means quality. Hunter's HD Gold. They change so you don't have to. Welcome back to Triggered and our Your Best Defense segment. But first, Merry Christmas. And what always accompanies a Merry Christmas? That's right, Christmas shopping. Presents. And even though we do a lot of our shopping online now, still, the shops, the malls are mobbed during Christmas. So rather than harsh your mellow about Christmas shopping, let's just talk about a couple of quick points. When you're going to the mall, you're going to pick up a bunch of gifts, pay attention to where you park. Park in a lighted area. Park reasonably close in. Secondly, when you're coming out of the mall, you're coming out of the stores, you're managing your kids, you're managing your spousal unit who's even worse than your kids. Try not to have both hands full of packages. Your worst case scenario is to have packages all up here where it's blocking part of your vision. At the same time, you're not really having any side situational awareness. That's critical. Because given the huge increase in shoplifting, shop thefts that we've seen, and the numbers are nothing less than staggering, this Christmas you're going to need to be paying attention. But if you do pay attention, you got nothing to worry about. Somebody else will get robbed and have their Christmas ruined, and it won't be you. So look in, look out, make sure you park in the right place. Don't keep your hands full. Don't get on the telephone asking that spousal unit if he or she really did want a Rolex. Well, the answer, of course, is yes. Pay attention. Stay safe. So that way you'll make it to 2023. As I said, this is our last show for 2022. We take the last 2 weeks of the year off. And I'd like to thank, of course, Hunters HD Gold for sponsoring this episode. You can find us, as always, on michaelbain.tv. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Rumble. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us in Santa's sleigh, right next to the old guy himself. So from all of us here at the Secret Hidden Bunker in the Rocky Mountains, have a Merry Christmas. And as Tiny Tim said in A Christmas Carol, God bless us, everyone.